Thanks for joining me, Daniel Martin, and my guest on the program, Associate Professor Haresh Kumar from the Faculty of Medicine at Masa University College in KL, Malaysia. This edition of Body and Soul brought to you by abeilledor Chlorella. For more information, call them at 6339-5045, 6339-5045. Dr. Haresh is renowned for his specialties in areas of research in microbiology, medical science, and nutrition. Join us if you have any question about the role of chlorella and women's health issues. That's what we're talking about today. Dr. Haresh, thanks for staying with us. Earlier on, you were talking to us about the impact it can have on hormonal levels for women. What's the effect of chlorella really on female hormone estrogen? Because we know that estrogen concerns are really quite important for many aging women.
Now, a main problem today's women are facing, especially in the Western countries, is because of too much of estrogen, and we know that one of the main issues that causes too much of estrogen is the intake of animal protein. Too much of animal protein, studies have shown, it can increase the estrogen production in the body. Now, estrogen normally the levels of estrogen rises each month in the first half of the menstrual cycle. Now, once the egg is released in a process called ovulation, then estrogen has done its job already, and it must be cleared. So what happens is, once estrogen has done its job, the liver will basically take this estrogen and bind it to a protein, for clearance. How? By placing it into the bile, which travels through the gallbladder, into the digestive tract, for final elimination. But the problem is, in the digestive tract, if the number of unfriendly bacteria, that means the harmful bacteria, are quite high as compared to the good flora or the good bacteria, the bond that binds the protein to the estrogen may be eaten up or be destroyed by the bacteria. So what happens is, the estrogen is then free again, and it will re-enter and be reabsorbed again to the system.
Do we want that to happen?
No, we do not want this to happen, because once this happens, this will be highly undesirable, because this will actually expose the female's body to estrogen. And we know, once estrogen level becomes very high in the body, all kinds of problems can arise, starting from breast cancer, the risk of breast cancer, gallstone formation, endometrial growth, menstrual cycle irregularities. All of this basically will happen when the levels of estrogen start rising in the blood. So we do not want this to happen. Once estrogen has done its job in the first 2 weeks of the cycle, it must be cleared.
It's interesting that you mentioned that these estrogen levels are a particular concern for women in terms of getting too much in, because I often hear, and this is one of the common questions that we get, is about soy levels and whether soy levels can artificially contribute to high levels of estrogen as well. Is there any truth or concern there?
Exactly. Normally soy contains something called phytoestrogens. So phytoestrogens are plant hormones that mimic estrogen. Now soy estrogens are very much helpful to women who are going through menopause. Because why? Because soy estrogen basically reduces two of the main problems faced by menopausal women. Number one is osteoporosis, because soy protein contains a lot of isoflavones, and isoflavones help in building strong bones. So they're very good for women who are post-menopausal, for preventing osteoporosis. So it's very important. And the other thing is, soy proteins or phytoestrogens in soy proteins also reduce the signs or the things that menopausal women go through, like hot flashes and everything. It reduces all the symptoms quite well.
So do we want to maintain and regulate intake of hormone from protein or from food sources, like you said?
Exactly. Animal protein, too much of animal protein will cause an increase in estrogen levels. Right. But plant protein contains phytoestrogen. Now, phytoestrogen is quite safe. It does not do much of harm. Okay?
That's good indeed. Glad we got that cleared up. You mentioned, of course, a lot depends on the state that the woman is in. What about women who are already in the menopausal status? Is chlorella going to help when you're already experiencing some of these symptoms?
Yeah, definitely. Because as we told at the beginning of this session today, that chlorella is actually an adaptogen. So it will bring back the body to homeostasis. Studies carried out in Japan using chlorella has shown that chlorella helps in overcoming some of the symptoms of menopause, especially osteoporosis, because due to its high calcium levels, and also, basically also the reducing the levels of hot flushes that normally menopausal women actually experience. That is one of the most important one of the most important aspects of chlorella. And in women in the reproductive years who are still going through their menses, okay? Now, a study has carried out and it showed that chlorella actually transforms estrogen to another form called estrone, okay? And it will help to clear estrone, okay? The form which needs to be cleared, because if not, that is the one that actually bring problem. At the same time, it leaves the other form behind, which is actually an antioxidant by the name of estriol. Okay, so basically, the study suggests that any women with a combination of digestive distress and high estrogen symptoms, by taking chlorella, they will benefit because, number one, the excess estrogen will be cleared. Okay, at the same time, okay, they see improvement in both their female symptoms as well as the digestive systems.
Well, Dr. Haresh, let's look at the flip side then. I mean, that's wonderful, and you've explained that process for women who are in that status, but I know some families, the whole family actually takes chlorella, including maybe the young children, young boys and young girls. So this impact that we're seeing on hormones, production levels, is that going to have a negative impact or any kind of side effect for a young girl who perhaps hasn't hit puberty?
No, it has got no effect, because in the young girl's body there are the levels of estrogens. In fact, she hasn't even started producing estrogen. Only after puberty the estrogen, okay, will start to be produced and secreted. Okay, so until then, so she has got no problem because there's no estrogen levels, so chlorella won't have any negative effect on a girl who has not reached puberty.
We're finding out more about the wonderful benefits of the naturally occurring whole food chlorella. We've heard in the past 11 weeks about various impact that it can have on us, from heart issues, from weight issues, to of course the wonderful high nutrient and content and nutrient and mineral content of this superfood. Today we're finding out that for women in particular, it's very helpful. It is a naturally occurring whole food. It is an algae, chlorella. If you want to find out more about it, you want to call this number 6339-5045. We've got more details coming up on how this is impacting women's health just ahead on the Chlorella series on Body and Soul on 938 Live. Haresh has a background in the areas of research in microbiology, medical science and nutrition. And joining us, of course, on this edition of Body and Soul, brought to you by abeilledor Chlorella. For more information, please call 6339-5045. Dr. Haresh, great. So you told us that this doesn't have an impact for young girls who are prepubescent, maybe, because I know a lot of families, the whole family takes chlorella. I know some families actually, they actually have it together with their meals. They put it into their cereal, their milk. It's also, everybody has their own versions and opportunities to take it, I guess, as a whole family. Talk to me then about other women who might be taking it at certain specific, unique times in their life. What if a woman is pregnant? Should she stop chlorella supplementation during that time?
No, in fact, I feel that if a woman is pregnant, okay, all the more, okay, she should take chlorella, because chlorella is actually a superfood, okay, which provides both the mother and the fetus, the developing fetus, with all the required vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, and the best thing is in the natural form. Okay, in fact, a study was carried out in Japan where pregnant women were given chlorella. Okay, this study was actually published in one of the journals, okay, of the medicinal food journal in 2007, where 35 women, okay, were given chlorella. They had one control group and one group given chlorella, and they found out that, okay, the women where, okay, chlorella was given to them, the results suggested that the maternal supplementation with chlorella reduced the dioxin levels in breast milk, and actually also increased the levels of IgA, which are the antibodies, okay, levels in the breast milk. So this really shows, okay, is good thing, because number one, the antibodies level in the breast milk is increased, so that means the baby's immune system will also becomes better, number one. Number two, it reduced the dioxin level in case the mother had any, okay, heavy metal contamination or dioxin before pregnancy. So what happened, chlorella actually helped remove that during pregnancy, during the elimination. As we know, it is one of the best detoxifiers.
Wow. So these IgA levels in particular, I want to focus on that for a minute. Do those actually decrease for women during pregnancy? Or, I mean, do we need to do things to boost this?
IgA is there are 5 different types of antibodies: IgM, IgA, IgD, IgG, and IgE.
Right.
Now, IgA is the main antibody, okay, which is passed on from the mother to the baby during the breastfeeding process. Okay? So they found out that mothers who were given chlorella during pregnancy, they actually exhibited a higher levels of IgA in their breast milk compared to the mothers which were not given chlorella. So when the baby receives a higher IgA concentration from the mother in the breast milk, automatically the baby's immune system becomes stronger.
Fantastic, because we know that initial process of breastfeeding really, it sets the groundwork. Studies have shown that it can set the groundwork for your entire future health situation as well, because of the immunity that is passed on. So that is good to hear indeed, that it's increasing those levels of the mainly sourced out IgA levels. Yeah, there are many other problems that pregnant women face as well, Dr. Haresh. Does chlorella help in solving some of those problems for pregnant women?
Yes, normally pregnant women's two main problems they have is number one, anemia. Okay, especially Asian women, Malaysian and Singaporean women always have this problem of anemic. They have very low level of hemoglobin, and another one is pregnancy-induced hypertension. Okay, so these are the problems. So chlorella contains large quantities of folate. Now folate is very important. In fact, supplementation of folic acid is always given to mothers during pregnancy. It has got a lot of folate, vitamin B12, iron. Now all of these can help in the improvement of both anemia and also hypertensive disorder in women.
That's fantastic, because we know that so many women are really focusing on folate levels and folic acids. But to be fair, are we saying that if you have good intake of chlorella, does that mean that you don't have to take your folic acid?
You can, because chlorella the folic acid comes in a natural form. So you can still take the folic acid which is given by the doctor in the supplement form. Because the folic acid in chlorella, as I told you, is an adaptogen. It comes in a natural form, is a harmonious form. So even if you take the other supplementation continuously, it's still no problem. In fact, I also would like to tell that women who want to get pregnant also should start taking chlorella.
Really? Why?
Yes, okay, women and men, because the studies have shown that once your folate levels in both women and men, are good enough, are strong enough, the gametes, the spermatozoa which is produced by a man, the egg which is produced by a woman is a healthy one. So when the zygote is during fertilization, the zygote which is obtained from the union of the sperm and the ovum is a healthy zygote, because it is from enough folate, enough vitamin B12 and enough iron, we get good spermatozoas and good eggs.
I think a lot of guys just poked up their ears, and they probably are going to sign up for a lot more chlorella in their life, because you just said that. So long-term usage, of course, we're talking about before we see those benefits.
Sorry,
is it about long-term usage before we see some of those benefits?
Exactly. It's actually long-term, long-term, and you will definitely see the benefit as you go on, as the amount of junk and these heavy metals and all in your body reduces, automatically you will start seeing the positive effects on health.
That's what we want to see indeed. That's what we want to feel indeed. Dr. Haresh, thank you so much for your time today. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. My guest on the program is Associate Professor Haresh Kumar Kantilal, who joins us every Monday for the Chlorella series, right here on Body and Soul, brought to you by abeilledor Chlorella. For more information, please call 6339-5045, 6339-5045.